Okay, Gabriel, you ready for the quiz, sir?
I'm ready.
10 questions.
Oh my
And
goodness. All right.
let's see. I curated these myself as a big Jaws fan. I try to make them a little bit more on the difficult side because you are an expert. So let's see how we do.
Let's do it.
Number one, sir. What date, meaning the month and day, did Alex Kittner perish, unfortunately?
Ooh, all right. It was a couple days before July 4th. Real quick, the movie came out June 20th, 1975. But
There it is.
the whole movie is leading up to July 4th weekend. Geez. It's either probably July 1st or July 2nd. Let's say July 2nd.
That would have been my guess, but it's June 29th.
Oh, it's before.
Yeah, because they show you in the, and this was confirmed by a lot of the Jaws websites, but they show you the date. I guess I don't remember if it was the shark attack, the first one, and then it was the next day. I forget when it was, but it's June 29th. So
Gotcha. Well, he's typing when he types on the typewriter the date. That is the date of Chrissy Watkins.
Christy Watkins,
That's
right?
that's her death when he's typing it, and he puts I
Who
don't know if
you've
you
met
remember
before in real life?
and yes, Susan Black Linney. She's very
Yes.
nice. She actually lives in California on a boat. She lives on a boat in California.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Yes, yes. She's had some twists and turns in her life, but she's very
Yeah.
nice, and it's been nice to meet her. But one of the big, or I don't know about big, but one of the errors, like if you look at all the mistakes from Jaws, one of
Yeah.
them is as Brody is typing in the Chrissy Watkins death on the typewriter, instead of coroner, it says corner, Corner. So that's one of the
Oh,
mistakes from Jaws. So
I've
that's a
never
fun one.
picked up on that because I
Yeah.
always watch Shark Attack when he's typing it because I always thought that was so cool, like Shark Attack, you know?
So what I'm
Wow,
going
I
to
had
do
no
is if I get
idea.
something wrong, I'm going to
Corner.
immediately give you something that,
Yeah.
to keep my Jaws credentials strong.
Corner. Okay. Number two. What is the name of the Amity newspaper?
The Amity Island Gazette.
There. Who even about the island? I would have accepted Amity Gazette too, but you nailed it. All right. By the way, we're not keeping points. This is just for fun,
Absolutely.
listeners.
But I'm
Uh,
serious.
you are serious. You're a true sharksman. Number three. What kind of business did Mrs. Taft own?
A hotel.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
And yes, she was not happy at all about the beaches being closed. 24 hours is like 2 weeks. But she didn't actually scream that out. That was a different lady who
It was a
screamed that.
different lady. Who
But
was
she
the
was famous for saying, I don't think that's funny at all.
I don't think
I don't
that's
think
funny.
that's
I don't
funny.
think that's funny at all. But that's actually part of this quiz later on. We'll get to that. But I think you're gonna get that one anyway. Number four is a bonus part. There's two parts to this.
Okay.
Which anniversary was the annual regatta? And the bonus part is what dates did it fall on? What were the dates of the regatta?
Oh man. Was it the 99th? I have no idea.
It was the 50th annual regatta,
Okay.
which seems like a long time. That means if the movie was made in 74, it would have been
Wow. So since
24. So they were doing
yes,
that since the Great Depression. So the dates were kind of weird to me, but
that's a long regatta. Yeah.
I'm not an
Okay, that's
Islander,
a good
Gabe.
one.
I'm not an
No,
Islander.
it's
When will I
only an
be an
island.
Islander? Never.
Yeah.
Never.
It's only an island if you look from what?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Um, all right. And the second one was what were the dates?
Yeah.
Well, damn.
Now the clue is it's all on the billboard when he goes, those proportions are correct. All the information is on that
Yep.
billboard, if that helps.
Yep. Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I mean, the fact that they were talking about, closing it down, it would have had to be, I would think, the week of July 4th, but I don't know the exact dates.
July 4th through 10th.
Okay.
And to the listeners, viewers, if these questions sound obnoxious, it's because I had to do really deep dives. Because I know
No,
Gabe,
these are good.
I can't ask questions like, "What was the name of the boat that Quint did?" Like you know everything, so I had to really,
No,
really
these are
get in
good.
there.
These are good.
Number five, how many times is the line "That's not funny"? That's not funny at all, uttered throughout the film.
Well, geez. I mean, the famous one is Mrs. Taft saying it, when they're at the city council meeting and talking about whether or not they're going to close the beaches. Um,
Right? True.
I feel like Hooper says that's not funny at all, but I don't know if he says that's not funny, that's not funny at all. I'll go
It-
with two, but that's a good one.
2 times. You're correct.
Okay, all
It's
right.
uttered later by Brody very quickly when he's talking with Hooper. He's like, "That's not funny. That's not funny at all" on the docks, which I always think it's funny in movies because it's a writer that does that. The writers tend to write like themselves over and over again, so you can tell that was obviously a script decision to make. And I've
That's
never
a fun
noticed it
one.
twice until I watched it again, and I've seen the movie.
Now, are you asserting that that was intentional or coincidental?
I think it was intentional.
Interesting. Yeah,
I
I
don't
haven't.
think. I mean, I don't think. Okay, you know what? I think it was intentional. Like a writer knows that the same line is twice. They didn't purposely do that. Like, hey, this means something. Let's crowbar it in. But that they realized it was in there twice, and they're like, just leave it in,
Well,
kind of
maybe
thing.
they did. You know, a cool one, just a
It's
fun fact,
interesting.
if you didn't know this one, is Spielberg was a huge James Bond fan. So
Hmm.
he liked to put little things where he could. And obviously, so many movies since Jaws have put little like tidbits from Jaws into them.
Yeah,
But if you didn't know, when they pull the Louisiana license plate out of the tiger shark, Hooper does when they're cutting it open on the dock there, when they sneak in,
yeah.
and the first three numbers of that Louisiana license plate are 007 for 007. And
Oh
that was
no, I
his
didn't.
little, yeah. I was actually considering, because I've got on Marty, on my Blazer, I've got the vanity plate says Amity, but on my truck, I've got an F-150 that I'd use, for business most of the time. And I was
Yeah,
actually considering a vanity plate that no one in the world would know is a vanity plate, with just the 007, and then I don't
so
know if you have
cool.
four numbers memorized from the Louisiana plate as like a super subtle vanity
Yes,
plate.
dude, I had no idea. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
swear, I could talk to you like for a whole day and pick your brain about the Jaws trivia. It's super incredible. Number 6, Gabe. What was the name of the Amity? Who was the name? Who was the Amity Harbor master? What was the name of that gentleman? The Amity Harbor master.
Oh man,
He's the
it's one that
gentleman
I.
with the pipe that looks like
Yep,
he's.
yep. He's got the funniest scene where he comes out of there and he just looks both ways and he doesn't say
It
anything.
looks like something on an old like bay seasoning like mason jar that you'd
Yep.
see in
Yeah,
the
it's the
cabinet.
greatest. Yeah, this is one of those that I know his name like when I watch it and then I forget, but I know the character. His character is awesome. Uh, just
Yeah,
like uh, just like Harry, just like Bad Hat Harry's character is
that's
just
some bad hat,
absolutely
Harry.
awesome. Yeah, no, I'm spacing out on his name though.
Frank Silva was the name of the
Yes,
gentleman, but you know who he is.
I do know, of course,
That's
who he
some
is.
bad hat, Harry.
Yes.
Um, okay, who was the original director of Jaws? Who was supposed to be the original director?
Oh, I know his name, so I'm going to make up for spacing out on his name. But the reason he got fired from being the original director is he was sitting there and they kept on questioning him on the script and on everything, and he wouldn't get it out of his head that it's a whale, and he kept saying to the
Oh,
producers like,
really?
"Oh, and then the whale comes up," and they both like. Zanuck looks at him and is like, if he can't like distinguish a shark from a whale,
Yeah.
then how can he direct this movie? And that was like the big hang up. Like if you watch
Wow.
any of the discussion about it, they keep on harping how like if he keeps on saying whale instead of shark, and then he thought that you could, and a couple of them actually thought that you could train a great white shark. That's how little they knew about great white sharks back then. They thought
Wow.
they could train one as part of part of the scene, and then obviously they couldn't even get the mechanical one to work. So
Yeah.
yeah, a fun little fact there.
I
That's
had
what I'm
no
going to
idea.
continue to do. If I get something wrong, I'm going to throw another
No,
tidbit.
that's better. That's better. The answer is Dick Richards, but that's amazing. I had no idea. That's quite an answer that he kept
Which is a really
confusing
great
them.
name because it's kind of like Dick if you think about
Dick
it.
Dick. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
That's
Dick
actually,
Dick.
now there's no way I'll ever forget it. There we go. Dick
There you
Dick.
go. But that's really interesting that he kept confusing it with a whale. It's like,
Yeah,
come on,
and they
buddy.
just couldn't, and they fired him because of it.
That's like if you're doing Jurassic Park and they keep confusing a dinosaur with like a frog or something. It's like, no, 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 no. It's not that. 3 questions left. Number 8 is how did the mechanical shark get the name Bruce?
Because Steven Spielberg's attorney's name was
There it
Bruce.
is.
Yes.
Gabe knows
And did you
best.
know that the 2 Cocker Spaniels that Brody had were actually Steven Spielberg's dogs?
Really?
Yes,
I
that's a
knew the
fun fact too.
first one, the opening scene was his dog. I didn't realize that the other one was too.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Those
so
are
cool.
Spielberg's Cockers.
Oh, that's so cool. Um, you should write a book, Gabe. I feel like people would buy it. I do, or a
Well,
blog.
there's a great one.
I know.
His name's Matt, and I can't remember his last name right now. It's a pretty generic name, like Matt Smith, but he wrote
Yeah.
Jaws memoirs, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I stumbled down that rabbit hole yesterday, but I got to check that out for sure.
It's pretty cool, and it's actually just also like, like some coffee table books are just like very visually appealing and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a really beautiful book. I
Is
know
it?
that's cheesy, but it actually is.
Oh, cool. That's good to have. This is a deep cut.
All
Okay.
right,
Really
bring
deep
it.
cut. This is the hardest question on the quiz.
Okay.
Brody's code name on the radio, during the shark watching hunting scene in the beginning when all the boats are. What is his code name on the radio during the shark watching boating scene? Hendrix calls and he's like, Hendrix to what is the name they give Brody?
Man.
It's a really deep cut, Gabe.
Yeah, but
I've
I know
never
the
known it
deep cuts.
until I
I
was
know the
like,
deep cuts, and then I know the stories behind the deep cuts. So now this is
I'll give you a hint. And you know what? I
it's
tried
not
Googling
cheapy
this
or
to find
something
the
like that.
origin. I found nothing on the internet about this. But they say it in the movie and it's in the IMDb quotes. So like I know that's what they said. I'll
Yeah.
give you a hint. It starts with a color. So like Hendrix to
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's
just say I don't know. I'm not even
it,
gonna guess.
it's red one, which is interesting. And there was like nothing
Never.
on the internet about it.
And you're saying that was intended as his name? It was Red One. They weren't talking about something else. Like that's a
I
code
don't
for
know if it was
something?
intended to his name, but they say Hendrix to red one, and Brody gets on and goes like, "What is it?" or whatever his line is. So I don't
Wow.
know if it was intended for him, but he definitely responds after they say red one.
I got to be honest. I've never even thought of that one. So that's a true
Me
stumper.
too.
You got me on that.
Yeah, I was really digging when I was watching this. I'm like,
Well,
okay, the
that's good.
radio.
It's
You learn stuff.
no one casually can really stump me, but these are legit ones. So I like this.
Okay,
Red
cool.
One. Now I'm
Uh,
gonna have to do something with Red One secretly in something. So we'll
yeah,
figure that
red
out.
one. It's like such an interesting
Yeah.
name. And finally, number 10, Gabe of the Spicy Shark. What brand of beer does Captain Quint drink while on the Orca?
Oh my goodness, Narragansett and
Is that how you
the
say it? I didn't know how to say it. I was like, is it
Narragansett. I'm going to tell you two
Narragansett?
things in addition to that. Well, I'll throw
Please.
the quiz back at you. What is
Oh,
the other alcoholic beverage other than Narragansett beer that is brought onto the Orca?
apricot brandy?
Yes, very good.
Yes.
So that is the question. And then the stat is, so I think you know this, but I worked for, I was in the beer business for 17 years before I started the Spicy Shark. I actually worked for the Boston Beer Company, Sam Adams. And one of their
Cool.
products that they still make is Twisted Tea. And
Oh,
Twisted Tea has this back label program where there's like people like fans of Twisted Tea, they like send in a twisted or just a funny picture that involves Twisted Tea, right? And one of my claims to fame when I was at Boston Beer Company is I'm actually on 4 of these back labels. And what's funny is they still circulate them. So I'll like see one or someone will text me a picture of me on the back label. But anyway, one of the 4 back labels was Halloween 2010, and I was Quint for Halloween, and I'll have to send you this picture.
please.
And so what I do is it's me as Quint, and I thought I did a pretty good
It's
job as him.
awesome.
And I'm crushing it like Quint, but instead of crushing a Narragansett, I'm crushing a Twisted Tea. So me as Quint crushing a Twisted Tea is on a Twisted Tea back label.
Oh, that's so
pretty fun.
cool.
Yeah, so I was doing all Jaws stuff forever.
Please send it to me. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I totally will.
That is so cool. Look, before you go, I have two quick questions about Jaws that you could answer. One is, what is the drink that he's like, drink this, Chief, made it myself, pretty good stuff. Is that like moonshine or something?
Yeah, that's him making his own moonshine.
Oh, gross. And
Yes.
then who was the other, like Quint's
Don't drink
little
that.
crony that's with him in the yeah, don't drink
Yeah,
that.
he got cut out.
Who is
So
that guy? Is that like his
he
first
was
mate?
just Quint's assistant, and I'm
Okay.
spacing out on his name right now. He's like,
Oh, he has a name.
yeah, if he's not a true little person. Then he's really short, but he
Yeah.
comes across as a little person.
Yeah.
And he initially had a bigger part in the movie, and if you see some of the cuts that they took out, you'll see him in it. Like, and one of the cuts that got taken out was him quitting, and he has this like spaz out at Quint, like, I can't take it anymore, and this isn't working. And he basically quits on Quint because he was supposed to be on the trip with them. And then, Spielberg, for time of the movie, because, Jaws is over 2 hours, and that was a long time in 1975
Yeah.
for a movie. Now they're all over 2 hours. So that was one of the scenes that he cut out. So you actually only see him after that famous scene, where he's, you all know me, know what I do for a living. And when he walks out, he's like, his little lackey's there with him. He
Yeah.
doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
He's like, almost like his little pet walks out with him. But yeah, there
Right.
was this whole scene of him like spazzing out and quitting.
And they
And
filmed it. They just never like
yeah,
it
yeah,
got cut.
you can find it. It's out there.
Wow. Thank you for
Yeah,
answering that. My buddy Mike and I were like, what happened to his little like minion that was there? He was
yeah,
like following him and you'd figured he'd go in the boat, but then we're like, it would be too crowded. And if they had like a fourth guy. So thank you for, I knew you would
yeah,
know.
of
I knew you
course.
would know.